Are you ready to take control of your financial future and start building wealth like the top 1%? In this audiobook, Manage Your Money Like the 1%, Wealth Building Full Audiobook, you'll discover practical strategies to track every dollar, automate savings, eliminate high-interest debt, and invest aggressively for long-term growth. You'll learn how to diversify income, negotiate expenses, leverage tax strategies, and build assets while avoiding lifestyle inflation. Each chapter delivers actionable steps, motivational insights, and disciplined approaches that you can apply immediately to improve your financial life. From mastering daily wealth habits to planning goals with precision, this audiobook equips you with the mindset and tools needed for lasting success. By following these strategies, you'll gain clarity, control, and confidence over your money. Make sure to subscribe now so you never miss a chapter that could transform your financial future. Number 1. Track every dollar you spend. Tracking every dollar begins with a single honest look at where money goes. Most people think they know their spending, but the truth lives in the small transactions. The coffee bought 3 times a week, the streaming trial that rolled into a subscription, the impulse purchase that felt harmless in the moment. Those small things add up. Tracking is not about guilt, it is about clarity. Clarity gives control. Control creates options. That sequence, honesty, clarity, control, options, is the backbone of financial freedom. Start with a simple ritual. Every time a payment leaves an account, record it. Use the method that fits your life: a paper notebook, a quick note app, or a dedicated expense tracker. The tool matters less than the habit. Recording immediately, while the receipt is still warm, while the transaction is still fresh, builds a muscle of awareness. Over a week, the habit shifts attention from autopilot to intentionality. The sound of a card tapping becomes data. The sight of a balance becomes information rather than anxiety. Categorize ruthlessly. Create a small set of categories that cover the essentials and the discretionary: housing, utilities, food, groceries, food, eating out, transport, debt payments, savings and investments, entertainment, subscriptions, miscellaneous. Avoid more than 10 categories at first. Simplicity breeds consistency. After a month, patterns will appear. Seeing multiple small entries under eating out or subscriptions reveals opportunities to reallocate money to what truly matters. The goal is not to deprive, but to align spending with values. Schedule a weekly review. Pick a consistent day and time, 15 to 30 minutes, and reconcile the recorded expenses with bank statements and receipts. This is a stoic exercise in regular inspection. Observe without dramatizing. Ask 3 questions each review. Did this expense bring value? Could this expense be reduced or eliminated? Does my spending align with my goals? Answer honestly and create one small corrective action for the week. Cancel one unused subscription. Cook 2 meals at home instead of eating out. Negotiate a bill. Small corrections compound. Build a monthly map. At the end of each month, sum each category and examine the ratios. What % of income goes to housing, to food, to debt interest, to savings? Use those numbers to set simple rules. For example, aim for at least 20% of income to flow into savings and investments. Cap eating out at 5% of income. Keep debt interest below a set threshold. Those rules act as guardrails. They are not strict punishments, but clear boundaries that protect long-term freedom. Create an immediate buffer for surprises. Every person faces irregular expenses: a medical copay, a car repair, a tax bill. Tracking exposes the timing and frequency of such costs. Use that intelligence to smooth the bumps. Build a small emergency buffer equivalent to 1 month's fixed expenses and then grow it. When emergencies happen, tracking converts panic into action because the response is already planned. Use automation to reduce friction, not to remove attention. Automating savings and bills is intelligent. Set automatic transfers to a savings account, an investment account, and to a bill pay schedule. But automation does not replace review. Each automated action should be reviewed monthly. Ask if the amounts still make sense and if the accounts still align with goals. Automation preserves discipline. Review preserves wisdom. Design spending rules that limit regret. For purchases over a threshold, say $100, apply a 72-hour rule. Wait 3 days before committing. That pause interrupts impulsive emotion and allows reason to weigh in. For recurring subscriptions, apply a quarterly audit. If a service is not used twice in 3 months, cancel. For variable categories like dining or entertainment, set a weekly allowance and track progress daily. The rules become a contract between present impulses and future intentions. Make visuals that motivate. A spreadsheet with columns for date, description, category, and amount is already powerful. Add a column for priority or value where each expense is rated on a scale of 1 to 5 for how much it contributes to well-being or goals. Color code essential versus discretionary. Over time, the visual pattern tells a story. Frequent, low-value expenses show up in red, steady investments glow green. Those colors are neutral information, not moral judgment. They guide choices. Use receipts and bank statements as raw material. Keep digital copies of receipts for major expenses. At month's end, compare recorded expenses to bank statements. Discrepancies reveal missed entries or forgotten subscriptions. Reconciling fixes the leaks. It also trains attention. Ignoring a mismatch becomes less likely once the habit of reconciliation exists. Practice a short weekly journal alongside the numbers. Tracking without reflection can become mechanical. A 2-minute note on why certain spending occurred adds context and strengthens intentionality. For example, note bought lunch today because deadline required no break. Choose meal prep next week. That record prevents rationalizations from becoming habits. It converts money movement into lived decisions. Turn the tracking system into a dashboard of progress. Pick 3 metrics that matter most: savings rate, debt reduction, and discretionary spending, and watch them weekly. Create small, measurable goals. Increase savings rate by 1% every quarter. Reduce discretionary spending by $50 a month. Cut recurring subscriptions by 2 per quarter. Celebrate measurable progress without overindulgence. Stoic joy is measured by calm satisfaction in skillful action, not by excess. Teach the household to track too. If money is shared, tracking must be collaborative. Hold a short monthly meeting, review the numbers, set one shared corrective action, and agree on a family saving target. Shared clarity dissolves conflict. When everyone sees the same numbers, blame recedes and collaboration rises. Address psychological resistance directly. Tracking can feel exposing. It surfaces mistakes and choices that cause shame. That reaction is predictable and useful. The practice is not about self-flagellation, but about learning. When an unpleasant pattern appears, ask, what prevented a different choice? Replace blame with a plan. If impulse purchases happen during stress, build a different response. Take a short walk, call a friend, or move saved money into a locked account. The plan is an act of self-command. Move beyond categories into lifetime lenses. Track not only what is spent now, but what behaviors signal future outcomes. High percentage of income on debt interest predicts slower wealth building. Frequent discount-driven purchases may imply a habit of justifying consumption. Use the tracking data to adjust identity from "I spend because I can" to "I allocate resources to build options." This shift from actor to author, where the individual writes the script of life with money, is the deeper transformation tracking enables. Make the process visible in the environment. Keep a simple chart or a printed budget summary where it will be seen daily, on a fridge, in a wallet, or as a phone home screen widget. Visual prompts are not nagging, they are the stoic reminders that discipline requires. Every glance should be a gentle recalibration toward intention. Experiment with mini challenges. A 30-day no-spend challenge on discretionary items, a week of cash-only transactions, or a month of cooking every dinner at home will reveal habits and reset thresholds of pleasure. Challenges are experiments, short, measurable, and informative. Track the results and decide what to keep. The discipline learned in challenges becomes lasting. Finally, accept that tracking evolves. The first month is often messy and revealing. The third month shows patterns. The sixth month produces real choices with real consequences. The practice is not an end, it is a skill that deepens. With time, recording becomes less about controlling every cent and more about aligning resources with purpose. Tracking every dollar spent is a daily practice of self-mastery. It trains attention, sharpens decisions, and creates a map for action. The discipline is small in each instance: log this, categorize that, review weekly, but cumulative in its impact. Free time, less stress, choices to invest, and an inner calm that comes from knowing where resources flow are the real returns. Money is energy shaped into possibilities. Tracking is the craft of directing that energy toward what matters. Begin with honesty, continue with consistency, and use the facts to make clear choices. Each recorded transaction is an entry in a ledger of intention. Over months and years, that ledger becomes the architecture of a life built with purpose. Tracking does not promise instant riches. It promises something rarer: the capacity to act with reason, the confidence to build steadily, and the resilience to face financial storms without losing composure. That capacity is the foundation of wealth, and tracking is where it starts. Number 2. Automate savings and investments consistently. Automating savings and investments transforms financial intention into effortless action. Most people know they should save, yet life's daily demands and distractions prevent consistent follow-through. Automation removes the friction of decision-making and the temptation to defer. It is not a shortcut or an avoidance tactic. It is a tool for disciplined execution. By setting up systems that move money automatically, individuals align their present behavior with long-term goals, ensuring that wealth grows steadily without reliance on willpower alone. The first step is to define clear financial objectives. Decide what proportion of income should flow towards savings and investments each month. Consider short-term goals like building an emergency fund, medium-term goals such as saving for a home or education, and long-term objectives including retirement and wealth accumulation. Clarity on purpose informs the structure of automated flows. Without clear goals, automation risks becoming a blind habit rather than a purposeful strategy. Each automatic transfer must have a destination and a reason, linking action to aspiration. Begin with savings. Open a separate account solely dedicated to your emergency fund or short-term goals. Treat this account as untouchable, accessible only under specific circumstances. Set up automatic transfers from your primary account immediately after each paycheck arrives. The timing matters. Paying yourself first ensures that saving is not an afterthought, but a priority. Consistency is more important than amount. Even a modest sum, moved automatically every week or month, compounds into significant financial resilience over time. The reliability of these transfers builds psychological confidence and removes the stress of manual budgeting. Next, establish investment automation. Identify accounts and instruments that match your risk tolerance and long-term objectives. Retirement accounts, index funds, ETFs, or other diversified portfolios. Arrange recurring contributions that coincide with pay periods. Automation removes the influence of emotion, which is often the enemy of investing. When markets fluctuate, fear or greed can prompt reactionary decisions. Scheduled contributions, however, maintain momentum and allow compounding to work quietly in the background. Over years, disciplined, automatic investing outperforms sporadic attempts to time the market. Leverage technology effectively. Most banks and brokerage firms provide recurring transfer options, mobile alerts, and progress tracking. Use these tools not as a replacement for awareness, but as a supplement. Review automated flows monthly to ensure alignment with evolving goals. Adjustments should be deliberate and data-driven. An increase in income may allow larger transfers, a shift in priorities may necessitate new investment vehicles, and inflation may require recalibration of targets. Automation is not static, it is dynamic, continuously optimized by conscious oversight. Segment your automation to match specific purposes. One account can be for liquid savings, another for medium-term investments, and a third for long-term growth. By labeling these flows and maintaining separation, the mind perceives progress in multiple dimensions, reinforcing motivation. When goals are clearly defined and visible, automated actions feel purposeful rather than mechanical. Each transfer becomes a building block in a carefully structured financial plan. Address psychological barriers to consistency. It is common to experience temptation to redirect automated funds toward immediate gratification. Mitigate this risk by automating flows into accounts with limited accessibility, such as accounts requiring manual withdrawal processes or investments held in vehicles with early withdrawal penalties. The slight inconvenience reinforces commitment. It is a practical form of self-discipline. The design of the system encourages adherence while reducing reliance on moment-to-moment willpower. Consider the power of compounding when automation is applied early. Even modest recurring investments, if left untouched for years, grow exponentially. A consistent monthly contribution combined with reinvested earnings creates a snowball effect. The key is starting now, rather than delaying in search of the perfect moment. The discipline of regularity outweighs the size of individual contributions. Automation allows this principle to be realized seamlessly, converting small, deliberate actions into substantial long-term wealth. Use automation to integrate giving and impact. Just as automated systems can direct funds to savings or investments, they can also support philanthropy or causes that matter. A fixed percentage of income can be directed to charity or community initiatives, creating a habit of intentional giving. This reinforces a balanced perspective. Financial discipline is not solely about accumulation, but about channeling resources in alignment with values. Automation ensures that generosity, like saving, is consistent and reliable. Monitor progress through visualization. Set up simple dashboards that show the growth of automated transfers and the cumulative balance of investments. Observing a steadily increasing total reinforces the habit and provides tangible evidence of results. The visual feedback strengthens commitment, creating a psychological reward loop without relying on external gratification. Over time, these records also serve as a historical archive, showing patterns of consistency and milestones achieved, reinforcing confidence and reducing anxiety about financial security. Automation should include contingencies for life's uncertainties, emergency savings accounts, insurance, and flexible investment strategies, act as buffers against unexpected events. Regularly review automated flows to ensure that life changes, salary adjustments, new responsibilities, or market shifts do not disrupt the alignment between automated actions and objectives. A well-structured system adapts without requiring constant manual intervention, preserving discipline while accommodating change. Develop a habit of reflecting on outcomes. Monthly or quarterly reviews provide insight into whether automated actions are producing desired results. Compare actual growth against target milestones. Identify areas for enhancement, such as increasing contributions when surplus cash is available or reallocating investments to better match risk tolerance. This reflection transforms automation from a passive process into an active learning tool, cultivating financial literacy and self-awareness. Address psychological comfort through deliberate visibility. Notifications of successful transfers and investment growth provide reassurance. The act of seeing automatic contributions succeed reinforces confidence, demonstrating that disciplined systems produce real results. Over time, this builds a sense of mastery, reducing stress and decision fatigue. The mind begins to associate automatic financial management with reliability and security, reinforcing consistency. Automation is also a tool for habit formation beyond money. The process teaches planning, foresight, and delayed gratification. As systems run on autopilot, the individual develops patience, discipline, and focus, which extend into other areas of life. Financial automation becomes a microcosm of personal mastery, small repeated actions, producing compounding benefits, guided by intention, reviewed with wisdom, and aligned with long-term purpose. Focus on incremental improvements. Automation does not require perfection. Begin with a manageable amount, a simple schedule, and a few accounts. Once consistency is established, gradually increase contributions, expand investment vehicles, and refine categorization. The process is iterative. The long-term effect of consistent incremental action surpasses sporadic, intense efforts. The practice reinforces the Stoic principle of continuous improvement. Mastery is built through small, persistent acts. Finally, recognize the psychological freedom automation provides. By removing repetitive decision-making and ensuring that critical actions occur without reliance on memory or willpower, the mind is freed for higher-order thinking, planning, strategy, and reflection. The structure creates space for creativity and focus, while the disciplined foundation guarantees steady progress. Wealth building is not merely about money, it is about constructing systems that empower freedom, resilience, and purpose. Automating savings and investments consistently is a practice that converts intention into reality. It enforces discipline, eliminates hesitation, and aligns behavior with long-term goals. The habit grows stronger over time, producing tangible outcomes and reinforcing confidence. Every automatic transfer is a deliberate action toward financial security and freedom. By building systems that function reliably and reflecting periodically to refine them, individuals achieve mastery over their financial lives. The quiet, steady accumulation of wealth through automation embodies the principle that small, repeated actions, executed consistently with wisdom, are the foundation of lasting success. Over months and years, these systems compound not only financial returns, but also discipline, resilience, and the capacity to act with intention, turning simple routines into a life designed for freedom and purpose. Number 3. Eliminate high-interest debt fast. High-interest debt is one of the heaviest burdens a person can carry. It silently erodes financial stability, consumes opportunity, and restricts freedom. Paying only the minimum is a trap. Interest compounds rapidly, and progress feels slower than it truly is. Eliminating high-interest debt quickly is not merely a financial tactic. It is an act of self-respect, discipline, and long-term strategy. It frees mental energy, creates space for wealth building, and transforms a reactive financial life into one of control and purpose. The first step is understanding the full scope of the debt. List every outstanding balance along with the interest rate, minimum payment, and term. Include credit cards, personal loans, payday loans, or any liability carrying high interest. Knowing the exact numbers removes illusions and provides a factual foundation for action. Debt cannot be defeated in abstraction. It requires a clear, complete view. Ignoring small balances or hidden fees only prolongs the struggle. Transparency with oneself is a necessary first act of financial discipline. Next, prioritize strategically. Sort debts by interest rate rather than size. High-interest debt is the most destructive. Paying it down first minimizes the total interest paid over time. This approach may feel counterintuitive if smaller balances are easier to eliminate, but focusing on high-cost debt maximizes efficiency. Create a repayment plan that allocates as much extra money as possible to the highest interest account while maintaining minimum payments on others. This method ensures that energy and resources are directed where they produce the greatest impact. Examine monthly cash flow with ruthless honesty. Identify areas where expenses can be reduced temporarily to free additional funds for repayment. Dining out, subscription services, discretionary shopping, or travel may need to be curtailed. The short-term sacrifice is temporary, the benefit is permanent. Even small adjustments can produce hundreds or thousands of dollars over months. Accelerating debt elimination. Track these changes carefully to maintain awareness of where money is being redirected. Every dollar shifted from waste to debt repayment is a step toward freedom. Consider refinancing or consolidating debt strategically. If a lower interest rate can be obtained through a personal loan, balance transfer, or negotiation with the creditor, it reduces the total interest burden. Refinancing should be approached with caution. Fees, penalties, and terms must be fully understood. The goal is not to extend debt, but to reduce cost and accelerate repayment. This process requires research, comparison, and informed decisions. The discipline is in the calculation, not the emotion. The focus is on net effect rather than appearances. Implement a system of urgency. Set a target date for eliminating each high-interest account. Assign realistic but aggressive deadlines. Break down the total debt into weekly or bi-weekly payment goals. Visualize the reduction progress with a simple chart, graph, or checklist. Seeing each incremental reduction builds momentum and provides a psychological boost. Small wins accumulate, reinforcing consistency and commitment. The visual evidence of progress motivates continued effort and creates a feedback loop that strengthens discipline. Extra income should be directed immediately toward high-interest debt. Freelance work, side hustles, overtime, or selling unused items all create opportunities to accelerate repayment. These additional funds should bypass discretionary spending entirely. Treat them as one-time injections into debt reduction. By doing so, each extra dollar produces exponential value, reducing interest accrual and shortening repayment timelines. This tactic transforms temporary effort into permanent relief. Automation can aid in maintaining consistency. Set up automatic payments slightly above the minimum required. Timing is crucial. Schedule payments to coincide with income deposits, ensuring that extra funds are applied immediately. Consistency prevents missed payments, late fees, and compounding interest penalties. By removing manual steps, discipline becomes habitual rather than optional. Automation acts as an enforcer of strategy, keeping the plan on track without relying solely on willpower. Adopt psychological strategies to maintain focus. High-interest debt often triggers stress, guilt, or avoidance. Combat this by reframing repayment as empowerment rather than deprivation. Each payment is a victory. Each reduction is progress toward freedom. Celebrate milestones privately. When a debt is reduced by 25%, 50%, or fully eliminated, acknowledge the achievement. Recognition reinforces behavior, sustaining motivation through the challenging process. Viewing repayment as a series of accomplishments builds momentum and strengthens self-confidence. Examine spending patterns that contributed to debt accumulation. Analyze purchases and behaviors that led to borrowing. Understanding these patterns provides insight into long-term financial habits and prevents recurrence. Replace impulsive or emotionally driven spending with deliberate, value-driven allocation of resources. Developing awareness and intentionality is as important as the repayment itself. Lessons learned through reflection create sustainable changes in behavior, reducing the likelihood of future high-interest obligations. Engage accountability mechanisms. Share goals with a trusted friend, family member, or financial coach. Regular updates, even brief, create external reinforcement that enhances internal discipline. Accountability reduces rationalizations and encourages follow-through. Human beings are motivated by connection and expectation. Leveraging this psychology reinforces consistent action. Combining personal discipline with social accountability creates a resilient support structure that strengthens commitment to eliminating debt. Avoid the trap of replacing one high-interest debt with another. Once a debt is cleared, guard against returning to the behaviors that created it. Build buffer funds and savings before taking on new liabilities. Maintain visibility of spending and create systems to prevent impulsive borrowing. Treat cleared debt as a new standard of behavior, not as a temporary reprieve. This mindset reinforces long-term stability and ensures that freedom gained is not lost. Track progress meticulously. Document each payment, balance reduction, and interest saved. Seeing actual numbers rather than estimates provides clarity and reinforces control. Data-driven awareness enhances motivation and informs decisions about additional payments, allocation adjustments, or new strategies. The practice of recording strengthens both financial literacy and self-discipline. It creates a tangible record of effort and success, further motivating continued action. Integrate lessons into broader wealth-building practices. Eliminating high-interest debt is a foundational step. Freed cash flow can now be redirected toward automated savings, investments, and building assets. The discipline and systems created during repayment become transferable skills that accelerate wealth accumulation. The process cultivates patience, strategic thinking, and resilience, qualities essential for sustained financial growth. Debt elimination is not only about money, it is about mastering attention, priorities, and decision-making. Prepare for emergencies to prevent future debt. Life is unpredictable. Medical bills, car repairs, or other unexpected expenses can create new high-interest obligations if unprepared. Establish a small, liquid emergency fund during or immediately after repayment. Even a modest buffer of 1 month's essential expenses provides protection. This fund serves as a safety net, allowing continued progress without reverting to high-cost borrowing. Planning for contingencies converts financial vulnerability into security. Maintain long-term perspective. Repaying high-interest debt is a process that demands patience and consistent effort. The sense of immediate burden can be overwhelming, but the commitment to daily and weekly actions produces compounding results. Every payment is a deliberate step toward freedom, control, and the ability to allocate resources intentionally. Focus on the trajectory rather than the temporary discomfort. Progress is inevitable when strategy and discipline are applied consistently over time. Finally, view this journey as an exercise in self-mastery. Eliminating high-interest debt is not merely financial, it is psychological and ethical. It cultivates patience, persistence, responsibility and rational decision-making. Each milestone strengthens confidence and reinforces the capacity to manage resources deliberately. Freedom from high-interest debt is freedom of choice, to invest, to save, to live with less stress, and to focus on opportunities rather than obligations. The discipline applied here becomes the foundation for all future wealth-building endeavors, embedding habits that compound alongside financial growth. Eliminating high-interest debt quickly requires clarity, strategy, discipline, and psychological fortitude. It demands full awareness of balances, careful prioritization, consistent payment, and intelligent use of resources. Automation, incremental progress, reflection, and accountability ensure that actions are effective and sustainable. The transformation is profound, from financial stress to control, from compounding interest draining resources to compounding opportunities, creating wealth. The practice empowers both the present and the future, establishing a framework where financial freedom is not an abstract goal, but a lived reality. Each deliberate payment is not simply a reduction in balance. It is a statement of purpose, a demonstration of self-command, and a concrete step toward building a life structured for stability, growth, and choice. Number 4. Invest early. Compound wealth aggressively. Investing early is one of the most powerful actions anyone can take to build lasting wealth. Time is the secret weapon of financial growth. Every dollar invested today has the potential to multiply significantly over decades, creating opportunities that would be impossible to achieve with delayed action. Delaying investment, even for a few years, costs more than the sum of the missed contributions. It sacrifices the compounding effect that turns modest sums into substantial assets. Early investment is not speculation, it is disciplined foresight. Begin by understanding the principle of compounding. Compounding occurs when earnings generate additional earnings over time. Interest, dividends, and capital gains reinvested consistently increase the total balance exponentially. For example, even a small regular contribution to an index fund or retirement account can grow to a remarkable sum over 20 or 30 years. The key is consistency and patience. Each contribution, no matter how modest, is a seed that grows silently, accumulating power over the long horizon. The earlier you start, the greater the impact of compounding. Identify investment vehicles that align with long-term objectives and risk tolerance. Stocks, index funds, ETFs, bonds, and retirement accounts offer different levels of risk and potential returns. For aggressive growth, equities generally outperform other asset classes over decades, while fixed income instruments provide stability and predictability. Diversification across multiple sectors and instruments reduces exposure to any single risk. Early investment allows one to take advantage of higher risk, higher reward strategies because there is ample time to recover from market fluctuations. Discipline and a long-term perspective are crucial to navigating inevitable volatility. Automate contributions to enforce consistency. Setting up recurring transfers ensures that investments happen without relying on memory or willpower. Treat these contributions as mandatory. Just like paying a utility bill or rent, automation removes hesitation and prevents procrastination, which is the enemy of compounding. Each automated contribution builds momentum, allowing the portfolio to grow steadily while the investor focuses on other aspects of life. Consistency in contributions matters more than attempting to time the market or predict short-term performance. Adopt a mindset of aggressive yet calculated growth. Aggressive compounding does not imply reckless speculation. It involves allocating resources with intent, prioritizing high-return investments, while maintaining diversification and risk management. It requires discipline to stay invested during downturns, resisting the temptation to react emotionally. Markets fluctuate, but time mitigates short-term volatility. The investor who remains committed through ups and downs captures the true power of compounding. Emotional resilience is as important as financial strategy in maximizing long-term growth. Start small if necessary, but start now. Many hesitate to invest because they believe their contributions are insufficient. Even modest amounts matter. Investing consistently, regardless of size, trains discipline and takes advantage of compounding. Over time, small contributions accumulate and grow significantly. The habit of starting is more valuable than waiting for the perfect moment. Early action creates not only financial growth, but also the mindset of ownership, responsibility, and proactive wealth management. Understand the importance of reinvestment. Earnings from investments should be reinvested rather than withdrawn. Dividends, interest, and gains all contribute to compounding when left to accumulate. Reinvestment accelerates growth exponentially. It is not merely the principle that matters, but the growth of growth itself. By consistently reinvesting, the portfolio harnesses its own momentum, creating a self-sustaining cycle of wealth accumulation. Monitor investments periodically without overreacting. While consistency is vital, occasional reviews allow adjustments in asset allocation, diversification, and contribution levels. Changes in life circumstances, income, or market conditions may warrant recalibration. Review serves to ensure alignment with long-term goals rather than to chase short-term trends. Decisions should be rational and data-driven, avoiding impulsive reactions that undermine compounding. Knowledgeable oversight strengthens results without compromising patience. Focus on the long-term horizon. Time is the critical variable in compounding. Short-term performance is less important. Avoid comparing daily or monthly returns. Wealth grows in decades, not days. Maintaining a steady course allows compounding to operate fully. Patience amplifies every dollar invested, transforming what seems modest today into substantial resources in the future. Understanding this perspective reduces anxiety, prevents premature withdrawals, and reinforces commitment to disciplined investing. Utilize tax-advantaged accounts whenever possible. Retirement accounts, tax-deferred investment vehicles, and other incentives accelerate compounding by reducing taxes on earnings. The ability to retain more growth within the investment magnifies results over decades. Understanding these structures and applying them strategically enhances efficiency. Even small tax benefits compound over time, complementing the underlying growth of invested capital. Strategic use of these accounts is a key factor in long-term wealth building. Avoid the temptation to time the market. Attempting to buy low and sell high frequently leads to inconsistent results and missed opportunities. Early investors who maintain steady contributions capture average returns over time, benefiting from dollar-cost averaging. Market fluctuations, while intimidating, are temporary. Consistency produces results that speculation cannot match. By investing early and continuously, one eliminates the need for precise timing, relying instead on the natural growth of assets over extended periods. Leverage the psychological advantage of compounding. Watching investments grow steadily cultivates confidence and reinforces discipline. Observing the gradual increase in account balances provides tangible evidence that consistent action produces results. This psychological feedback encourages continued commitment, strengthening habits that compound not only wealth, but also character, Confidence built through disciplined investing promotes decision-making aligned with long-term objectives rather than short-term impulses. Educate yourself continually. Understanding how different asset classes work, the effects of fees, and market behavior enhances the ability to make informed choices. Awareness of compounding principles, historical returns, and risk factors improves strategy and reduces anxiety. Knowledge empowers the investor to act decisively, avoid common mistakes, and maximize growth. Learning becomes part of the compounding process, compounding skill alongside wealth. Combine aggressive investing with disciplined savings. Contributions should not come solely from disposable income. Allocate a percentage of each paycheck, bonuses or windfalls directly to investments. Prioritize wealth building before discretionary spending. This mindset ensures that compounding receives consistent fuel. Treating investments as non-negotiable reinforces habit and aligns daily behavior with long-term goals. Wealth is the result of deliberate allocation, not chance. Review and refine allocation periodically. Over time, contributions may need to shift between accounts or asset classes to maintain optimal growth and risk management. Rebalancing ensures the portfolio continues to align with goals while harnessing the full potential of compounding. Thoughtful adjustments protect against drift and maintain consistent progress toward financial objectives. Strategy and discipline combined sustain growth over decades. Protect against early withdrawals. Accessing invested funds prematurely disrupts compounding. Establish boundaries to prevent tapping into long-term investments for short-term desires. Recognize that the true power of early investing lies in leaving capital untouched. Discipline in preservation amplifies results, producing benefits exponentially greater than any temporary satisfaction gained from early spending. The restraint exercised now multiplies returns later. Understand the exponential impact of consistent contributions. Even a small increase in monthly investment grows disproportionately over decades due to compounding. Incremental increases, timed with raises or bonuses, produce a cumulative effect that far exceeds the simple addition of contributions. Early and consistent action magnifies every dollar's impact, creating a foundation for substantial financial freedom. Visualize long-term outcomes to reinforce action. Conceptualizing the potential growth of investments over decades encourages persistence. Imagining the lifestyle, freedom, or opportunities enabled by wealth accumulation transforms abstract numbers into tangible motivation. This perspective supports disciplined behavior, turning consistent contributions into purposeful steps toward meaningful goals. Investing early and compounding aggressively is the strategy that separates long-term wealth builders from those who remain average. It requires discipline, patience, foresight, and emotional resilience. Each contribution made today is an investment in freedom tomorrow. Every reinvested dividend and earned interest adds to the snowball of growth, accelerating wealth over decades. Time is the most powerful ally. Starting early amplifies results, and consistency converts intention into achievement. The practice transforms small deliberate actions into exponential outcomes, empowering individuals to build security, choice, and a life defined by intentional prosperity. Number 5. Diversify income streams for security. Relying on a single source of income is one of the riskiest financial positions a person can occupy. Life is unpredictable. Jobs can be lost, businesses can falter, markets can shift, and unexpected emergencies can arise. Diversifying income streams provides resilience and security. It ensures that if one source diminishes, others continue to generate resources. Multiple streams reduce dependence on luck, timing, or a single employer, creating both freedom and stability. Diversification is not merely a strategy, it is a mindset of foresight and proactivity, a commitment to protect and grow financial life from multiple angles. Begin by evaluating current income sources. Identify all active sources of earnings and the degree to which each depends on a single entity, market, or skill. Understanding concentration risk is essential. If more than 80% of income comes from one source, there is vulnerability. Awareness of this exposure allows deliberate planning for alternatives. The first step toward diversification is clarity, recognizing where risk exists and where opportunity for additional income resides. Consider building complementary income streams aligned with skills and interests. Freelancing, consulting, or part-time work in familiar areas allows earnings without starting from scratch. Leveraging existing expertise reduces the learning curve and accelerates results. It also increases efficiency as effort spent aligns with capability. By expanding income through familiar channels first, one gains confidence and skill, laying the groundwork for more complex or unfamiliar streams later. Develop passive income channels to reduce reliance on active labor. Investments, royalties, rental income, and digital products provide resources without daily effort. While initial setup requires planning and sometimes capital, passive streams compound over time. They convert effort into ongoing returns. Even small passive streams, if maintained and reinvested, contribute significantly to financial resilience. The principle is simple: diversify the method of income, not only the source of labor. Separate active and passive streams strategically. Active income comes from work requiring direct engagement, while passive income generates returns without ongoing participation. Balancing the two ensures both stability and growth potential. Active income provides immediate resources and skill development, while passive income builds long-term security and compounding returns. The combination creates flexibility. One can weather temporary setbacks in active income without derailing long-term goals. Leverage modern technology to expand opportunities. Online platforms, marketplaces, and digital tools allow creation of side businesses, content monetization, and e-commerce ventures. Technology reduces barriers to entry, allowing multiple income streams to be established simultaneously. Efficiency is gained because digital systems can operate 24/7 with minimal supervision. Automation and scalability amplify effort, turning small initial contributions into substantial recurring revenue over time. Prioritize streams based on risk, effort, and growth potential. High-effort, high-risk ventures may be balanced with low-effort, stable sources. Evaluate each opportunity not only for immediate income, but also for sustainability and alignment with long-term goals. Diversification is not random. It is intentional allocation of energy and resources across multiple channels, optimizing both security and potential growth. Thoughtful prioritization prevents overextension and maximizes the impact of each income source. Allocate time deliberately to develop additional streams. Passive income or side ventures require focus, especially initially. Structured schedules, milestone setting, and consistent effort accelerate progress. Treat these endeavors with the same seriousness as primary work, acknowledging that building resilience demands deliberate action. By investing time strategically, one transforms scattered effort into measurable outcomes, creating new channels of security over months and years. Reinvest returns to expand streams further. Earnings from one source can be used to launch or enhance another. This reinvestment fuels compounding growth across income channels. For example, profits from freelance work may fund investment accounts, which in turn generate dividends or interest. Rental income may allow additional property acquisitions. The cycle of reinvestment transforms small gains into larger, self-sustaining streams, creating a portfolio of income that continues to grow independently of initial labor. Minimize overlap between streams to reduce systemic risk. Ensure that not all sources are exposed to the same market or sector. Geographic, industry, and skill diversity protect against correlated downturns. If one industry faces a decline, other unrelated sources continue generating resources. This approach spreads risk intelligently rather than concentrating exposure. The goal is resilience. Income persists even when individual sectors falter. Monitor performance consistently. Track earnings, growth, and sustainability of each stream. Determine which channels are thriving, which require adjustment, and which may need to be phased out. Active management ensures that diversification remains effective rather than becoming a collection of underperforming or obsolete ventures. Objective evaluation allows resources to be allocated where they are most productive, reinforcing both security and growth. Use contingency planning to strengthen resilience. Consider potential disruptions, market crashes, illness, regulatory changes, or unexpected expenses. Maintain emergency reserves and adaptable strategy. Diversified income provides flexibility, but planning for extreme scenarios ensures continuity. Anticipating challenges allows for faster responses, reducing stress and preventing setbacks from derailing long-term objectives. Security is not only about earning multiple streams, but also about managing risk intelligently across them. Collaborate strategically to expand opportunities. Partnerships, joint ventures, and shared projects allow income to grow without requiring full effort individually. Collaboration leverages complementary skills, networks, and resources. This strategy multiplies potential impact while distributing risk. Building relationships with trustworthy partners amplifies capacity, creating streams that are robust, scalable, and less dependent on a single person's efforts. Document and systematize income strategies. Keep records of contracts, processes, and outcomes for each stream. Standardization allows replication and reduces dependency on memory or ad hoc decisions. Systems ensure that income generation continues smoothly, even if circumstances change. Structured documentation enables growth and adaptation, turning sporadic efforts into stable, predictable results. Maintain a mindset of experimentation. Not every income channel will succeed, and some will fail entirely. Treat each attempt as a learning opportunity. Early failures provide insight into market demand, operational efficiency, and personal strengths. Iterative testing reduces risk over time, ensuring that eventual successful streams are built on experience and informed choices. The process itself becomes a training ground for skill, judgment, and resilience. Protect income streams legally and financially. Contracts, insurance, and appropriate business structures safeguard against losses, disputes, or liability. Security is reinforced when legal protections are in place, allowing focus on growth rather than fear of unforeseen setbacks. A proactive approach to protection ensures that progress is not undone by preventable events, preserving both capital and effort. Focus on continuous skill development. New skills open additional streams and enhance existing ones. Adaptability is critical in a dynamic economy. Diversified income is sustained through learning, growth, and the ability to pivot. Investing in capability is as important as investing capital. Each new skill expands opportunities, reduces dependency on single sources, and increases long-term security. Integrate income diversification with broader financial goals. Allocate returns from various streams to savings, investments, and debt reduction, creating a holistic approach to financial security. Multiple streams are most powerful when used strategically to build wealth, not merely accumulate money. Coordination between income channels and overarching objectives transforms scattered resources into coherent, cumulative advantage. Diversifying income is both a defensive and offensive strategy. It protects against uncertainty while enabling growth. Each additional stream reduces vulnerability, builds freedom, and increases options. The effort invested in establishing, managing, and optimizing multiple sources compounds over time. Over years, income diversification provides not only financial stability, but also confidence, independence, and resilience. It creates a life where opportunity is maximized, risk is mitigated, and resources are directed deliberately toward meaningful goals. Developing multiple income streams requires vision, discipline, and sustained effort. The payoff is security, flexibility, and long-term growth. Each stream contributes to a network of stability, reducing reliance on any single source and creating freedom of choice. By systematically building, monitoring, and expanding channels of income, individuals ensure that financial life is robust, adaptable, and self-sustaining. Diversification is the architecture of security and the foundation upon which lasting wealth is constructed, empowering consistent progress, resilience, and control over one's financial destiny. Number 6. Negotiate expenses like a pro. Negotiating expenses is one of the most underutilized strategies for financial control. Many people accept bills, fees, and prices as fixed, believing that negotiation is either impossible or awkward. The reality is that almost every expense is negotiable if approached strategically. Reducing costs without sacrificing quality directly increases available resources for savings, investments, or debt repayment. Negotiation is not manipulation. It is the disciplined practice of asserting value, gathering information, and creating fair agreements that serve long-term goals. Mastering this skill transforms the way money flows in everyday life and accelerates financial stability. Start by analyzing recurring expenses. Identify monthly bills, subscriptions, insurance premiums, service contracts, and utility payments. Record amounts, due dates, and terms. Awareness of all obligations is critical. Many people overpay simply because they have not reviewed the details or asked for alternatives. Knowledge is power. The first act of negotiation is understanding the landscape, what you pay, what the market offers, and where flexibility exists. A clear view of your expenses reveals opportunities that are otherwise invisible. Research is essential before engaging in any negotiation. Compare prices from competitors, understand industry norms, and gather information on promotions or discounts. Knowledge of alternatives strengthens your position. When discussing adjustments with a service provider, being able to reference competitive offers or standard rates demonstrates preparation and credibility. It shifts the conversation from subjective to factual, making it easier for the other party to consider reasonable concessions. Approach negotiations with a calm and professional tone. Confidence and clarity matter more than aggression. Begin by clearly stating the objective, reducing costs while maintaining service quality. Use polite, concise language. Framing requests as mutually beneficial increases the likelihood of success. Negotiation is not a battle, it is a structured dialogue aimed at creating value for both parties. Maintaining composure signals that you are serious, informed, and reasonable. Leverage timing strategically. Many service providers are more receptive to negotiation at specific points, such as the end of a billing cycle, during promotional periods, or when contracts are up for renewal. Awareness of timing creates leverage. Aligning requests with these windows increases the probability of favorable outcomes. Patience and strategic timing are often more effective than immediate demands. A well-timed approach reduces resistance and maximizes concessions. Bundle services when possible. Combining multiple offerings into a single package often creates opportunities for discounts. Providers prefer retaining larger, consolidated accounts rather than fragmenting services. When negotiating bundled deals, clearly articulate the value of loyalty and commitment. Bundling demonstrates intentionality and provides a rationale for reduced costs. The principle is simple. Presenting options that benefit both parties increases the likelihood of favorable results. Use documented evidence to strengthen your position. Past payment history, consistent usage, or loyalty records can justify requests for lower rates or better terms. Companies value reliable customers, and presenting documented reliability supports a fair adjustment. Being able to provide clear proof reinforces legitimacy and reduces the chance of rejection. Facts and records replace emotion and speculation, making the negotiation more objective and persuasive. Consider creative solutions beyond direct price reductions. Providers may offer extended terms, waived fees, added benefits, or upgraded services at the same cost. These adjustments effectively reduce overall expenses or increase value without altering the base price. Creativity in negotiation expands options beyond the obvious and often uncovers opportunities that standard approaches overlook. Flexibility in solutions benefits both parties and demonstrates strategic thinking. Practice assertive listening. Understanding the provider's perspective helps identify constraints, priorities, and potential trade-offs. Asking questions and listening actively creates a collaborative environment. By uncovering motivations, you can structure requests to address both your needs and theirs. Negotiation is most effective when framed as problem-solving rather than confrontation. Empathy combined with clarity strengthens outcomes. Track outcomes and patterns over time. Maintain a record of successful negotiations, adjustments obtained, and strategies that worked. This archive informs future efforts, creating a personal playbook for reducing costs. Recognizing patterns enhances efficiency, increases confidence, and strengthens negotiation skills over multiple interactions. Data-driven reflection transforms occasional wins into consistent advantage. Use silence strategically during discussions. After presenting a request or proposal, allow time for the other party to respond without interruption. Silence creates space for reflection and often encourages concessions. Many people feel compelled to fill silence, which can weaken their position. Patience in listening and waiting increases the chance that reasonable adjustments are offered voluntarily. Timing and presence are as important as words. Apply negotiation consistently across all expenses. Small reductions in multiple areas compound into substantial financial impact over time. Target recurring costs such as insurance, internet, phone plans, credit card interest rates, and subscriptions. Approaching each expense systematically ensures that opportunities are not missed. Regularly reviewing and negotiating multiple accounts maximizes the overall effect. Discipline in applying negotiation broadly multiplies benefits exponentially. Prepare alternatives when negotiating. If the provider cannot accommodate the request, present options, different plans, adjusted packages, or alternative services. This shows flexibility while maintaining intent. Having alternatives demonstrates preparation and reduces the likelihood of deadlock. Negotiation is a structured exchange. Presenting options signals strategic thinking and commitment to achieving a mutually acceptable outcome. Use leverage of loyalty or future business. Providers often value consistent, long-term customers and may be willing to adjust rates or provide perks to maintain relationships. Highlighting commitment respectfully encourages them to find solutions that retain your business. Demonstrating awareness of your own value without arrogance fosters cooperation and maximizes results. Long-term relationships can become recurring sources of savings and improved terms. Negotiate with clarity and specificity. Vague requests rarely produce meaningful adjustments. Clearly define the desired outcome: lower rate, waived fee, additional benefit, or alternative plan. Being precise reduces ambiguity, facilitates decision-making, and communicates seriousness. Ambiguity invites rejection or minimal concessions. Precision signals competence and enhances credibility, increasing the likelihood of achieving tangible improvements. Learn to detach emotionally. Negotiation is a transactional exercise, not a reflection of personal worth. Detachment allows focus on strategy and objective results. Emotions such as fear, embarrassment, or impatience undermine effectiveness. A disciplined, rational approach maximizes success while preserving confidence. Stoic detachment ensures that outcomes are evaluated based on merit, not sentiment. Combine negotiation with broader financial planning. Savings obtained can be redirected toward investments, debt reduction, or wealth-building strategies. Each successful negotiation enhances resource allocation, accelerating progress toward long-term goals. Viewing negotiation as a tool within a comprehensive plan increases motivation, effectiveness, and consistency. The practice becomes an integral part of disciplined financial management rather than an isolated tactic. Reflect after each negotiation to improve skills. Assess what worked, what could have been phrased differently, and how leverage was applied. Continuous improvement builds competence and confidence. Over time, negotiation becomes second nature, and the ability to reduce expenses systematically becomes a powerful tool for resource optimization. Learning from experience ensures consistent, repeatable success. Negotiate proactively rather than reactively. Do not wait for problems to arise or for bills to escalate. Routine evaluation and preemptive engagement with providers yield better outcomes and prevent unnecessary overpayment. Early, proactive negotiation establishes control and reinforces the habit of managing finances strategically. Discipline in timing reinforces long-term stability. Finally, view negotiation as an exercise in personal empowerment. Each successfully reduced expense increases available resources, reduces stress, and reinforces confidence in financial decision-making. The act of questioning, requesting, and optimizing transforms passive spending into deliberate allocation. Over time, systematic negotiation compounds into significant savings, providing both practical results and psychological strength. The skill cultivates awareness, assertiveness, and resilience, ensuring that financial resources are managed intelligently, intentionally, and with maximum efficiency. Negotiating expenses like a professional is more than saving money. It is a disciplined approach to resource management. It requires preparation, research, timing, and emotional control. It leverages relationships, creativity, and persistence. Each successfully negotiated adjustment strengthens financial position, builds confidence, and accelerates long-term goals. By mastering negotiation, individuals transform the way money moves in their lives, turning routine expenditures into opportunities for strategic gain, ensuring both security and the capacity to allocate resources toward meaningful objectives. Number 7. Study wealth habits daily regularly. Studying wealth habits daily is one of the most powerful ways to transform financial potential into tangible results. Wealth is not solely the product of earning or investing. It is the accumulation of disciplined actions, mindset adjustments, and consistent learning over time. Observing and adopting the behaviors of financially successful individuals, allows anyone to replicate their strategies in a practical, actionable way. Developing this habit daily builds not just knowledge, but a mindset that aligns decisions with long-term growth, discipline, and self-mastery. Begin by dedicating time each day to learning about money management, investing, entrepreneurship, and financial psychology. Even 30 minutes of focused study accumulates into hundreds of hours annually. The key is consistency. Reading books, listening to audiobooks, reviewing market trends, or studying financial case studies develops insight into effective behaviors. Daily engagement transforms understanding from abstract concepts into practical intuition. Over time, exposure to these ideas reshapes thinking, decision-making, and the way resources are allocated. Observe patterns in the habits of wealthy individuals. Many successful people prioritize budgeting, long-term planning, disciplined investing, and strategic risk-taking. They emphasize the importance of knowledge acquisition, networking, and continuous improvement. These behaviors are not innate. They are learned, cultivated, and repeated consistently. By tracking these patterns, it becomes clear which actions drive results and which are distractions. Recognition of these habits allows one to consciously implement them in daily life. Integrate learning into daily routines. Wealth habits are reinforced not only by study, but also by application. Allocate time for reflection on how new insights can be applied to personal finances. Evaluate spending, saving, and investment decisions against best practices. Reflection ensures that learning translates into action, bridging the gap between theory and reality. Daily reinforcement strengthens both competence and confidence, gradually aligning behavior with long-term financial objectives. Track financial behaviors meticulously, recording spending, savings, investment contributions, and returns allows comparison with principles observed from successful individuals. Awareness of deviations and inefficiencies creates opportunities for correction. Monitoring progress provides feedback, highlighting both achievements and areas for improvement. This data-driven approach creates clarity, enhances decision-making, and establishes measurable milestones that reinforce consistency. Study wealth habits in diverse contexts. Examine behaviors across industries, economic cycles, and cultures to understand principles that are universally effective. Recognize how mindset, persistence, adaptability, and foresight influence outcomes beyond specific tactics. This broader perspective provides a foundation for flexible application, ensuring that lessons remain relevant in changing circumstances. Patterns that emerge across contexts indicate behaviors that have long-term, sustainable impact. Adopt a structured approach to learning. Categorize study into themes such as budgeting, investing, passive income, negotiation, and financial psychology. Each theme requires focused attention and repeated reinforcement. Rotating focus while maintaining continuity ensures balanced understanding. Depth and breadth of knowledge allow integration of multiple strategies, enhancing the ability to make informed, rational financial decisions daily. Structure converts scattered learning into actionable frameworks. Apply lessons incrementally. Wealth building is a process of small, deliberate steps. Each day's study should result in one concrete action, whether reviewing a budget, adjusting investment contributions, or exploring a new income opportunity. Gradual, consistent implementation compounds over time, producing tangible results. Consistency in both learning and action reinforces discipline, creating momentum that accelerates growth without overwhelming the individual. Surround yourself with financial learning stimuli. Engage with content from books, podcasts, mentors, and networks of like-minded individuals. Exposure to diverse perspectives cultivates adaptability, enhances problem-solving, and provides multiple approaches to similar challenges. Interacting with others who prioritize wealth habits reinforces commitment and motivates continuous improvement. Environment shapes behavior. Daily exposure to positive financial influences strengthens habit formation. Reflect on decisions and outcomes regularly. Each financial choice, whether successful or flawed, provides insight. Daily review of actions against learned principles helps identify mistakes and opportunities for refinement. Reflection transforms experience into knowledge, reinforcing learning. Over time, repeated cycles of study, action, and reflection cultivate both wisdom and skill, producing a level of financial competence that becomes intuitive. Build mental frameworks based on successful wealth habits. Recognize patterns such as delayed gratification, strategic risk-taking, disciplined allocation of resources, and continuous reinvestment. Develop mental models that guide decisions under uncertainty. These frameworks allow faster, more accurate judgment, reducing reactionary behavior driven by emotion. Repeated exposure and application strengthen these frameworks, embedding them into daily practice. Experiment consciously. Implement variations of strategies observed in wealthy individuals and evaluate results. Testing approaches within personal circumstances provides practical insight beyond theory. Some methods may be more effective due to personal strengths, local context, or available resources. Experimentation allows customization of learned habits, creating a personal system that maximizes outcomes. The combination of study, experimentation, and reflection accelerates mastery. Document progress to reinforce habit formation. Maintain journals, spreadsheets, or digital trackers for both study and application. Recording insights and actions serves multiple purposes: tracking growth, clarifying understanding, and reinforcing accountability. Reviewing accumulated documentation over months highlights progress and areas for continued improvement. Tangible evidence of effort provides motivation, reinforcing the consistency needed to make wealth habits automatic. Focus on mindset alongside tactics. Wealth habits are not merely external actions. They are rooted in perspective and discipline. Daily study should address psychological aspects such as patience, resilience, emotional control, and strategic thinking. Developing the mental framework to approach money with clarity and purpose amplifies the effectiveness of tactical actions. Mindset and behavior together create sustainable financial growth. Incorporate micro habits that compound over time. Small daily actions, such as reading a financial article, reviewing expenses, or setting investment contributions, add up significantly over months and years. The compounding effect of knowledge parallels the compounding effect of money. Each micro-habit strengthens awareness, reinforces discipline, and embeds best practices into behavior, creating lasting impact without requiring drastic immediate changes. Use visualization to reinforce learning. Imagine applying principles from daily study to real-life scenarios. Visualizing success, strategic decisions, and positive outcomes creates mental rehearsal that enhances execution. It strengthens confidence, reduces hesitation, and supports proactive behavior. Daily visualization, combined with concrete action, bridges the gap between knowledge and results, accelerating mastery. Seek accountability through discussion or mentorship. Sharing insights and reviewing actions with a trusted advisor, mentor, or peer reinforces commitment to study and implementation. Feedback identifies blind spots, confirms effective strategies, and motivates consistent engagement. Accountability transforms solitary learning into a disciplined practice that yields measurable progress. Evaluate and adapt financial behaviors continually. Daily study provides a lens for ongoing improvement. Review decisions, compare results with observed best practices, and refine strategies. Adaptation ensures that learning remains relevant, efficient, and impactful. Flexibility in approach prevents stagnation and enhances responsiveness to changing circumstances. Continuous adjustment reinforces control and mastery. Prioritize consistency over intensity. Long-term wealth is built through daily repetition rather than sporadic bursts of effort. Small, manageable increments of study and reflection create habits that last a lifetime. Intense but inconsistent effort produces little compounding effect. Daily commitment, even in modest amounts, fosters momentum, reinforcing discipline, knowledge, and actionable insight. Understand that wealth habits extend beyond personal finance. Principles such as planning, reflection, risk management, and continuous learning apply to business, investing, and lifestyle decisions. Studying habits in one domain enhances capability in others, creating systemic improvement. Daily engagement produces cumulative benefits that compound across multiple areas of life, amplifying results beyond money alone. Studying wealth habits daily is a lifelong commitment with profound impact. By dedicating consistent time to observation, learning, reflection, and application, individuals develop both skill and mindset necessary for sustained financial growth. Incremental, repeated actions produce compounding effects, shaping behavior, decision-making, and opportunity recognition. Over months and years, daily study transforms understanding into practical mastery, creating a disciplined, intentional approach to money that produces security, independence, and freedom. Wealth is cultivated habit by habit, decision by decision, and day by day, and the discipline of daily learning ensures that each step compounds into lasting success. Number 8. Build assets. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Building assets while avoiding lifestyle inflation is a principle that separates lasting wealth from temporary comfort. True financial growth is not about spending more as income rises. It is about strategically allocating resources toward assets that generate returns while maintaining disciplined spending. Lifestyle inflation, the tendency to increase expenses alongside earnings, erodes potential wealth silently, turning higher income into higher consumption without improving long-term security. Focusing on asset accumulation transforms each dollar earned into a tool for growth, compounding over time to create freedom and stability. Start by defining what constitutes an asset. Assets are resources that produce value over time, such as investments, rental properties, businesses, or intellectual property. Unlike liabilities which consume resources, assets generate income, appreciation, or strategic advantage. Understanding this distinction is critical. Every dollar spent on non-productive consumption represents an opportunity cost. The potential growth lost by diverting funds from wealth-building avenues. Clarity about what builds wealth guides daily financial decisions. Create a plan for systematic asset acquisition. Determine the types of assets that align with financial goals, risk tolerance, and timeline. Develop a schedule for contributions, acquisitions, or investments. Treat this plan as non-negotiable. Prioritize building assets over discretionary spending. Systematic acquisition ensures that growth compounds steadily, reducing reliance on luck or timing. Discipline in following a structured plan strengthens long-term wealth outcomes. Guard against lifestyle inflation actively. As income increases, resist the urge to expand spending on luxury or convenience items that do not contribute to wealth. Incremental increases in living expenses often go unnoticed, yet they significantly reduce the amount available for investments. By consciously maintaining spending levels even as earnings rise, more capital is directed toward asset building. Framing higher income as an opportunity to grow wealth rather than consume ensures consistent long-term advantage. Monitor and control recurring expenses. Subscriptions, memberships, loans, and habitual spending can gradually increase without notice. Regularly review these commitments, canceling or adjusting those that do not contribute meaningfully to financial goals. Maintaining visibility of recurring costs prevents subtle lifestyle creep and frees resources for productive use. Discipline in recurring expenditure ensures that each dollar retained works toward wealth rather than fleeting comfort. Invest in income-generating assets first. High-yield investments, dividend-producing stocks, rental properties, and business ventures provide returns that grow over time. Prioritize these over immediate consumption. Every contribution to an asset is a step toward compounding wealth, creating multiple streams of potential income. The habit of allocating new earnings toward productive resources reinforces financial control and accelerates the accumulation of value. Automate savings and investments to reinforce discipline. Automated contributions to investment accounts, retirement plans, or savings funds remove the temptation to spend. Automation ensures consistent allocation of resources toward assets, even when willpower fluctuates. Each automated transfer builds both balance and habit, strengthening the framework for disciplined wealth building. The effect compounds over time, producing substantial results without requiring constant active decision-making. Adopt a mindset of delayed gratification. Avoid purchasing items based on short-term desire or social comparison. Evaluate each potential expense against its long-term impact on asset growth. Every choice to prioritize investment over consumption strengthens financial discipline, builds patience, and amplifies returns. Mindset shifts are as important as tactical decisions. The ability to resist lifestyle inflation requires consistent mental reinforcement and focus on long-term objectives. Reinvest returns to maximize compounding. Earnings from assets, whether dividends, interest, or profits, should be directed back into asset growth rather than immediate consumption. Reinvestment accelerates wealth accumulation and strengthens financial security. This practice ensures that the value of each asset multiplies over time, creating a self-sustaining cycle of growth that compounds far more effectively than intermittent discretionary spending. Diversify asset types to reduce risk. Allocate resources across multiple vehicles, equities, fixed income, real estate, businesses, or other income-generating opportunities. Diversification ensures that performance in one area does not dictate overall financial trajectory. Spreading risk protects both principal and potential growth, creating a stable foundation for long-term wealth. Balance between high-risk and stable assets allows for strategic growth while maintaining security. Track financial progress regularly. Maintain clear records of income, asset value, and spending patterns. Regular monitoring highlights trends, identifies areas for improvement, and ensures adherence to asset-building priorities. Measurement reinforces accountability and provides feedback, strengthening the connection between intentional action and tangible results. Without tracking, it is difficult to recognize success or correct inefficiencies before they compound negatively. Educate continuously about wealth-building opportunities. Understanding new investment vehicles, market trends, or business opportunities enhances the ability to allocate capital effectively. Knowledge allows informed decisions, reduces risk, and maximizes returns. Daily engagement with financial education reinforces long-term perspective and strengthens the ability to make decisions that compound value over time. Leverage existing assets strategically. Use equity in property, business assets, or investment holdings to generate additional opportunities. Borrowing against appreciating assets or reinvesting profits allows accelerated growth while maintaining ownership. Strategic leveraging magnifies returns and creates pathways to diversify income further. Discipline and planning ensure leverage is used as a tool rather than a liability, amplifying asset accumulation without introducing undue risk. Resist external pressures that promote an unnecessary spending. Social expectations, advertising, and peer comparison often encourage lifestyle inflation. Maintain focus on long-term wealth objectives. Avoid equating increased consumption with success. True financial growth is measured by assets and security, not by temporary appearances. Awareness of external influence reinforces discipline, helping maintain priorities aligned with compounding wealth. Integrate frugality without sacrificing quality of life. Being mindful of expenses does not require deprivation. Evaluate spending for efficiency, value, and contribution to long-term goals. Making intentional choices about consumption reduces waste, preserves capital, and reinforces the habit of prioritizing assets. The balance between living comfortably and investing strategically ensures sustainable growth without compromising well-being. Plan for large expenses strategically. Instead of making spontaneous purchases, align major expenditures with overall financial strategy. Determine whether spending advances personal value or diverts funds from asset-building opportunities. Deliberate planning ensures that high-cost items do not trigger lifestyle inflation and that each decision supports long-term objectives. Predictable planning strengthens discipline and reinforces the habit of intentional allocation. Create a system for financial decision-making. Before any purchase, assess its impact on net worth, asset growth, and long-term goals. Establish criteria that prioritize assets over liabilities and spending that contributes to lifestyle inflation. By formalizing decision processes, emotional reactions are minimized and rational evaluation becomes habitual. Systems provide consistency and structure, essential for long-term wealth building. Utilize incremental increases in earnings wisely. As income grows, direct additional funds toward asset accumulation rather than discretionary consumption. Small, deliberate allocations of extra resources compound over time. Each increment invested today accelerates wealth growth exponentially, while spending it on lifestyle enhancements produces no long-term benefit. Discipline in this area separates individuals who build lasting wealth from those whose financial position remains stagnant despite higher income. Maintain awareness of opportunity costs. Every dollar spent on non-productive consumption represents potential asset growth lost. Regular evaluation of alternatives reinforces prioritization of wealth building over lifestyle expansion. Awareness encourages conscious decision-making, allowing each financial choice to contribute to compounding value. Opportunity cost is a silent force. Managing it effectively amplifies the power of disciplined allocation. Build assets with resilience in mind. Choose resources that retain value, adapt to change, and provide consistent returns. Resilient assets withstand market fluctuations, inflation, and economic uncertainty. Prioritizing durability ensures that growth is sustainable and reliable. Combining resilience with consistent accumulation safeguards long-term wealth and prevents setbacks from eroding progress. Reflect regularly on financial habits. Evaluate spending patterns, asset growth, and lifestyle choices. Reflection identifies areas where lifestyle inflation may creep in and opportunities to increase asset allocation. Continuous assessment reinforces awareness, strengthens discipline, and maintains focus on long-term objectives. Habitual reflection ensures intentionality in every financial decision. Building assets while avoiding lifestyle inflation requires awareness, discipline, and consistent action. It is a practice of converting income into productive resources rather than temporary satisfaction. By prioritizing assets, controlling spending, reinvesting returns, and maintaining focus on long-term growth, wealth accumulates steadily and predictably. Each choice to resist unnecessary consumption strengthens financial freedom, creating a foundation for independence, opportunity, and security. The discipline to build while resisting inflation transforms income into lasting prosperity, ensuring that growth compounds year after year, creating a life defined by intentional wealth rather than fleeting comfort. Number 9. Leverage tax strategies. Strategically smart. Leveraging tax strategies effectively is a cornerstone of building and preserving wealth. Taxes are not merely a mandatory obligation, they are a tool that, when understood and utilized strategically, can significantly accelerate financial growth. Smart individuals recognize that every dollar saved from taxes is a dollar that can be reinvested, compounded, or redirected toward productive uses. The difference between average financial outcomes and exceptional wealth often comes down to the deliberate application of tax planning over time. Understanding this principle is essential for anyone seeking to maximize resources, build assets, and secure long-term freedom. The first step is to gain a clear understanding of personal tax obligations. This includes federal, state, and local taxes, as well as capital gains, dividends, self-employment taxes, and property taxes. Knowing what is owed, when it is due, and how it is calculated creates the foundation for proactive planning. Without clarity, opportunities to minimize tax liability are often overlooked. Financial literacy in the realm of taxation equips individuals to make informed choices, avoid unnecessary penalties, and retain more of what they earn. Identify tax advantage accounts and prioritize their use. Retirement accounts, such as 401ks, IRAs, and similar vehicles, provide significant opportunities to defer or reduce taxable income. Contributions often reduce immediate tax liability while simultaneously creating growth potential through investments. Health savings accounts, education savings accounts, and certain business structures also offer similar benefits. Maximizing contributions to these accounts should be treated as a primary financial strategy rather than an optional action. The compounding of both funds and tax benefits creates substantial long-term advantages. Understand deductions and credits applicable to personal circumstances. While deductions reduce taxable income, credits provide direct reductions in taxes owed. Tracking eligible expenses, such as mortgage interest, charitable contributions, educational expenses, and certain business costs, ensures that every possible reduction is applied. Ignoring deductions or credits is equivalent to leaving money on the table. Maintaining meticulous records and documentation enhances eligibility and simplifies the application process, making tax strategies both effective and defensible. Incorporate strategic timing of income and expenses. Deferring income to a later year or accelerating deductible expenses can reduce tax liability in a given period. This timing strategy requires planning and awareness of cash flow, but it allows flexibility in aligning tax obligations with financial goals. By controlling when income is realized and when expenses are incurred, individuals gain a tactical advantage, optimizing both tax outcomes and financial stability. Timing transforms taxes from a static burden into a strategic tool for wealth management. Leverage capital gains strategies intelligently. Long-term capital gains are often taxed at lower rates than short-term gains. Holding investments for longer periods not only aligns with disciplined wealth-building principles, but also reduces tax exposure. Strategic selling, reinvestment and asset allocation decisions influence overall tax liability while maintaining growth objectives. Planning around gains and losses transforms investing from a purely market-driven activity into a tax-efficient strategy. Consider business structures and legal entities for tax efficiency. Sole proprietorships, LLCs, S-corporations, and other entities offer varying advantages for deductions, liability protection, and income treatment. Proper structuring allows expenses to be deducted, income to be classified advantageously, and retirement planning to be optimized. Evaluating the correct structure in alignment with personal and professional circumstances ensures maximum efficiency and growth potential. Strategic organization reduces tax burden while simultaneously supporting business development. Use loss harvesting to offset gains. Investment losses, when managed correctly, can reduce taxable income by offsetting realized gains. This technique requires careful planning and monitoring, but provides a method to minimize taxes while maintaining investment strategies. Loss harvesting is not a speculative tactic, but a disciplined application of tax law to maximize retention of capital and compound returns over time. The principle is to convert inevitable market fluctuations into tactical opportunities. Take advantage of retirement contribution, catch-ups, and employer matches. Many plans allow higher contributions after a certain age, and employer matches effectively provide free money that is not taxed as income immediately. Fully leveraging these benefits increases both investment capital and tax efficiency. Understanding the rules and maximizing available contributions ensures that every possible advantage is realized, accelerating both wealth accumulation and long-term security. Plan for estate and inheritance considerations. Strategic gifting, trusts, and estate planning can minimize taxes on transferred wealth. Proper preparation ensures that accumulated assets are preserved for future generations rather than diminished by tax obligations. Integrating estate strategies with overall financial planning creates continuity, security, and compounding value over generations. Effective estate planning transforms taxes from a barrier into a structured, strategic advantage. Stay informed about tax law changes. Legislation can alter rates, deductions, credits, and compliance requirements. Regular engagement with updates ensures that strategies remain effective and compliant. Adapting plans proactively rather than reactively preserves advantages and prevents costly oversights. Awareness transforms uncertainty into opportunity, allowing strategic adjustments that maintain efficiency and alignment with financial objectives. Utilize professional guidance selectively and strategically. Tax professionals provide expertise, identify opportunities, and ensure compliance. Their advice should be sought for complex decisions, major financial milestones, or unfamiliar regulations. Proper guidance enhances decision-making, prevents errors, and ensures that strategies are both effective and sustainable. Collaboration with skilled professionals amplifies results and reduces unnecessary risk. Integrate charitable contributions thoughtfully. Philanthropy not only benefits society but can also provide significant tax deductions. Aligning giving with financial goals ensures that charitable actions support both values and efficiency. Strategic contributions reduce taxable income while fostering long-term social impact. Intentional planning maximizes the effect of each contribution, balancing purpose with practical benefits. Monitor passive income streams for tax efficiency. Dividends, royalties, rental income, and other recurring earnings are often subject to distinct tax rules. Proper planning can optimize timing, classification, and reinvestment to minimize exposure. Treating passive income with the same strategic attention as earned income ensures that all resources contribute efficiently to growth. Understanding the nuances of tax treatment enhances overall wealth-building strategy. Consider geographical and jurisdictional advantages. Tax rates, deductions, and incentives vary by location. Strategic residency, investment location, and business operation planning can leverage favorable environments. Awareness of these variables allows individuals to structure financial activities in ways that minimize tax obligations while maintaining legal compliance. Strategic location choices multiply efficiency and support long-term financial goals. Automate record keeping to simplify strategy execution. Maintain organized documentation for deductions, credits, contributions, and investments. Automation reduces errors, enhances audit readiness, and ensures that opportunities are captured. Consistent record management transforms complex requirements into a manageable, repeatable process that reinforces efficiency and long-term compliance. Evaluate the balance between tax reduction and risk. Aggressive strategies may provide temporary savings, but increase exposure to audits or penalties. Responsible planning emphasizes legal compliance, sustainability, and alignment with overall financial objectives. Strategic caution ensures that benefits are realized without introducing unnecessary vulnerabilities. Long-term stability outweighs short-term gains when it comes to taxation. Align tax strategies with cash flow goals. Reducing taxable liability can improve liquidity for investment, debt repayment, or savings. Integrating tax planning with broader financial management ensures that retained resources are used optimally. Each strategic choice should serve multiple objectives, reinforcing growth, efficiency, and security simultaneously. Cohesive planning maximizes the impact of every financial decision. Review and adjust annually. Taxes, investments, and personal circumstances evolve over time. Conducting a comprehensive review ensures that strategies remain effective and aligned with current objectives. Continuous assessment and adaptation reinforce discipline, preserve advantages, and allow proactive adjustments in response to changing regulations, income levels, or lifestyle factors. Annual review is the linchpin of sustained efficiency. Adopting tax strategies strategically is not about avoidance. It is about intelligent planning, disciplined execution, and maximizing resources. Every dollar saved through careful planning becomes a tool for investment, asset growth, or financial security. By understanding obligations, leveraging legal avenues, monitoring changes, and integrating planning into overall wealth building, individuals convert taxation from a burden into an engine for growth. Strategic use of tax planning multiplies resources, strengthens financial resilience, and accelerates the path toward long-term freedom and security. Number 10. Plan financial goals with discipline. Planning financial goals with discipline is the foundation of lasting wealth and financial freedom. Without a clear roadmap, income, savings, and investments often drift aimlessly, leaving individuals vulnerable to missed opportunities, impulsive spending, and inefficient allocation of resources. Disciplined financial planning transforms aspirations into actionable steps, providing structure, clarity, and control over the trajectory of personal wealth. Each decision becomes intentional, contributing to long-term objectives rather than short-term gratification, and aligning daily actions with a broader vision of stability and prosperity. The first step in disciplined financial planning is defining precise, measurable goals. General ideas like "I want to save money" or "I want to be wealthy" lack actionable parameters. Effective goals specify amounts, timelines, and purpose. For example, accumulate $50,000 in investments within 3 years, or reduce debt by 40% in 18 months, provides clear benchmarks. Precise goals create accountability and allow progress to be tracked objectively. This clarity transforms intention into direction, making it possible to measure success and adjust strategies as needed. Break larger goals into smaller, achievable milestones. Ambitious objectives can feel overwhelming if viewed in totality. Dividing them into incremental targets makes the process manageable and provides regular reinforcement of progress. Small wins build confidence and establish momentum, making disciplined adherence easier over time. Each milestone reached reinforces commitment, while also offering the opportunity to review strategies and refine approaches for optimal outcomes. Establish a realistic budget that aligns with goals. A disciplined plan requires allocating resources according to priorities rather than impulse. Income must be distributed strategically across necessities, debt reduction, savings, investments, and discretionary spending. Each category should reflect the hierarchy of importance, ensuring that critical objectives are funded before indulgences. A structured budget converts intention into daily practice, providing both a framework for decisions and a reference for evaluation. Automate contributions toward financial goals whenever possible. Consistency is the cornerstone of discipline. Automating savings, investment deposits, and debt repayments reduces the risk of procrastination or deviation from the plan. Automation transforms planning into action, embedding goal achievement into routine behavior. Over time, the accumulation of automated contributions compounds, creating substantial progress with minimal daily effort, reinforcing both discipline and efficiency. Prioritize goals according to urgency and impact. Not all financial objectives hold equal significance or time sensitivity. Immediate needs, such as eliminating high-interest debt or establishing an emergency fund, should take precedence. Long-term aspirations, such as retirement planning or wealth accumulation, are equally critical but may require strategic phasing. Prioritization ensures resources are allocated where they produce the greatest benefit, maintaining alignment with both short-term stability and long-term growth. Regularly track and review progress to maintain accountability. Recording income, expenses, savings, and investments allows individuals to measure outcomes against planned targets. Periodic evaluation reveals deviations, highlights areas for improvement, and reinforces successes. Transparent tracking fosters discipline by making achievements and shortcomings visible, motivating corrective action when necessary. Continuous monitoring transforms abstract goals into measurable, actionable metrics. Incorporate flexibility to adapt to changing circumstances. Life is unpredictable. Unexpected expenses, career shifts, or market fluctuations can disrupt even the most careful plans. Discipline does not mean rigidity, it means adjusting intelligently without losing sight of core objectives. Reassessing strategies, reallocating resources, or modifying timelines ensures that progress continues despite challenges. Flexibility, when paired with steadfast commitment to overarching goals, maintains both resilience and forward momentum. Avoid impulsive financial decisions that conflict with long-term objectives. Every expenditure or investment should be evaluated against its contribution to defined goals. Impulse spending erodes progress and undermines discipline, often creating cycles of catch-up that delay achievement. By cultivating awareness and intentionality in every transaction, individuals reinforce their plan, ensure resources are optimized, and maintain alignment between daily behavior and strategic objectives. Educate continuously to inform better decisions. Knowledge of investing, tax planning, budgeting, and financial instruments strengthens the ability to execute goals efficiently. Understanding risks, opportunities, and alternative strategies enhances decision-making and reduces costly errors. Discipline in planning is amplified when decisions are based on informed judgment rather than guesswork or external influence. Continuous learning transforms financial goals from abstract intentions into strategically executable actions. Establish accountability mechanisms. Sharing goals with a trusted mentor, partner, or advisor increases commitment and provides external oversight. Periodic reviews with an accountable party create pressure to adhere to the plan, while offering feedback and perspective to optimize strategies. Accountability ensures that discipline is maintained even when motivation fluctuates, creating a structure that reinforces long-term adherence. Integrate risk management into planning. Financial discipline includes anticipating potential setbacks and preparing for them. Emergency funds, insurance, diversified investments, and contingency strategies protect goals from unforeseen events. Proactive risk management ensures that progress is not derailed by external shocks, preserving both resources and momentum. Stability provides the freedom to pursue objectives strategically without succumbing to panic or reactive decisions. Use visualization and mental rehearsal to reinforce commitment. Imagining the successful achievement of goals strengthens motivation and internalizes the desired outcome. Visualization helps clarify priorities, maintain focus during challenges, and connect daily actions with long-term rewards. The practice aligns subconscious behavior with deliberate intention, making disciplined action more natural and consistent over time. Allocate rewards strategically to reinforce progress. Recognizing milestones and achievements strengthens adherence by providing positive reinforcement. Rewards should be proportionate, planned, and aligned with goals, rather than undermining them. Controlled reinforcement sustains motivation and prevents burnout, making long-term discipline feasible and psychologically sustainable. Leverage compounding by starting early. Discipline in planning is most effective when initiated promptly. Every delay reduces potential growth, particularly in investments that benefit from compounding returns. Early commitment to structured financial goals amplifies results over time, turning consistent, disciplined behavior into substantial long-term advantage. Momentum created by early action reduces pressure in later stages and allows for more flexible strategy adaptation. Maintain simplicity to enhance adherence. Overly complex plans are difficult to execute consistently and increase the likelihood of error. Clear, straightforward goals, budgets, and investment strategies facilitate ongoing discipline and reduce cognitive load. Simplicity fosters understanding, encourages consistency, and ensures that daily actions reinforce long-term objectives without confusion or procrastination. Integrate multiple financial dimensions into planning. Goals should account for savings, debt reduction, investment, insurance, and lifestyle needs in a coordinated manner. Holistic planning ensures that all components of financial life work synergistically rather than in isolation. Discipline arises from the ability to balance multiple priorities simultaneously, aligning each decision with broader objectives. Anticipate psychological obstacles. Maintaining discipline requires acknowledging biases, temptations, and emotional influences. Planning should include strategies to counter procrastination, impulsivity, and fear. Systems, automation, accountability, and structured reflection help overcome human tendencies that interfere with consistent progress. Awareness and proactive management of psychological factors enhance the probability of achieving defined goals. Regularly refine and adjust financial strategies. As circumstances, knowledge, and opportunities evolve, Plans must be updated. Discipline involves monitoring effectiveness, identifying inefficiencies, and implementing improvements without delay. Iterative refinement ensures that strategies remain aligned with objectives, optimize resources, and capitalize on new opportunities. Consistent evaluation reinforces control and supports sustained momentum. Understand the interrelationship between short-term and long-term goals. Immediate actions should support broader objectives, ensuring that daily decisions are not contradictory to overall strategy. Aligning timelines, resource allocation, and priorities creates cohesion, allowing incremental progress to accumulate meaningfully. Discipline ensures that the sum of daily behaviors contributes directly to achieving comprehensive financial ambitions. Cultivate patience and persistence. Achieving financial goals is a process that unfolds over months and years. Discipline requires maintaining focus, resisting the temptation to abandon plans for immediate gratification, and persisting through setbacks. The cumulative effect of consistent, disciplined action surpasses sporadic, intense effort. Long-term vision combined with steady execution produces outcomes far greater than short-term activity alone. Planning financial goals with discipline transforms intention into measurable results. It requires precise definition, strategic allocation, consistent tracking, risk management, and continuous learning. By committing to structured, intentional action and resisting distractions, individuals maintain control over resources, maximize growth, and build resilience. Discipline turns aspirations into reality, ensuring that wealth is created systematically, preserved wisely, and directed toward meaningful long-term objectives. Each step taken with clarity, consistency, and focus compounds over time, producing both security and freedom, and enabling a life shaped by deliberate financial choice rather than chance or circumstance.